community seva. Similarly, this particular program, I thought, we have benefited so much from this knowledge. Then we thought, when we are getting so much benefit, why not share this knowledge with other people? Especially, we are all coming from Indian background, so we have that culture. But after coming here, what happens? We get so busy, and our kids are born and brought up here. And when they ask these questions about spiritual life or Bhagavad Gita or God, who is God, and most of the parents do not have any answers for this, because we ourselves did not learn much. In general, our culture is that parents tell something, we just listen and we move on. So even if we ask our parents, they say, don't worry, don't ask all these questions. We have been doing this for many years. My parents did, my grandparents did. You just follow, it's good for you. That is the only answer we hear. But the kids who are born and brought up here, they will not get, they will not be satisfied with that answer. They will ask, why do you have to worship this God? Who is Krishna? Who is God? Why should I follow this? Why should I follow that? So, and we hear so much spirituality, religiousness, religiosity, all this jargon we hear many times, and we would like to go to temples, but our kids may not be interested because they don't understand anything. They cannot relate to these kinds of things, right? So I thought, it will help us. These topics will help not only us, we can teach our younger generation and our kids also, because spiritual life is very important. At any age, right from the age 5, all the way up to 80, this is very important for everyone. So we benefited in last 20 years by understanding these topics. I thought I can share this knowledge to others so that they can benefit as well. And personally, as a family also, that will help. So that's about me. Anything else you would like to know about me? If not, yeah, please, we can take turns.
I have introduced myself with everyone.
This is my wife, Sita Sundari. Because of her only, I got introduced to spirituality because of her. She was more interested in it, and then, what happens, wife is interested, then automatically husband has to follow. You don't have a choice, so I just follow her.
Not really. Very lucky. We keep trying, but it doesn't happen.
Doesn't work.
We have to learn from her.
Always share all the big secrets.
So that's it.
My
Please.
name is Hamsa, and I've always been searching for that answer. Something in me is looking for answers always. Something in me is not complete, always there's so many things happening around us. Are we here for so many queries come, so I'm all the time looking for gurus and their talks. I'm all the time listening to that. But so many times I understand, but it's difficult to apply that continuously. Sometimes okay, I've got it. But the next minute, I'm not following. I'm not able to, even the chanting now, I'm not able to keep up that. The discipline is not there. So many things like that, even at home. When other people don't really understand this, and so it becomes all the more difficult. So my journey is like that. I'm trying to understand better, read Bhagavad Gita, read Bhagavatam. That's my journey. Slowly, ISKCON is really helping to understand all that.
Thank you.
So I'm happy to be part of this. Thank you so much for doing this.
I'm Priya. I got introduced to this program through one of my friends. She didn't show up today. I thought she was going to I didn't know anyone came here. So I didn't know what I'm getting into, but I want to know more about ISKCON. I hear about it. We went to the temple in Wheeling, and I hear about Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, but that's 70s, 80s, that's not the same thing. We all know that. I just want to know what it is.
Nice.
Alright, I'm Sahit. I don't really have a reason to be here. I got dragged here by my mom, who got introduced by Hamsa Auntie. That's about it.
Sahit said, he was feeling bored at home. So he did not know what to do. He said, okay, I'll join this one. I told him, if people, these days if people are bored, they want to watch movie or do something else. But Sahit chose to come
I
here.
have enough time to do both.
Myself, Roja.
Roja.
I don't know what it is. I mean, like, I just take stress feelings, or else I just if I am alone, I feel like something I'm missing. These type of things. So I thought it's better to have
Like
listen this.
social.
Yeah, socially and Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Because of my child also, I can learn by
Teach
listening.
her,
yeah.
Listening this all. Like, she also this age only she can easily learn.
Right. Kids are like sponge.
Yeah,
Whatever we
because
say is for
of
observe.
that,
We
because
can
of that
observe, yeah.
reason, it's really blessed to know friends in Guruji, because we came to ISKCON
Yes, yes,
temple
yes.
and is all. That's him.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm Sandeep, and yeah, so I've been like I kind of relate to her. Like, I have a lot of questions. Even if you give me answers, I will always have another question for it.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, you can ask Prince in the Guruji. Like, I usually ask him a lot of questions, and he kind of says that, do you have questions? So it's kind of like that.
In
Because
100 members of the last, Sandeep, you have something question?
So I mean, the reason is I have like a unanswered book of everything. Like, it's always like, if this is why, if okay, you gave me the answer for that, then why can't this one be the scenario? Why can't this one be the scenario? It seems like when you code for something, you think for all the different possible scenarios. So it's kind of like the same. My mind is trained in that way. So it's kind of like it kind of thinks in that same pattern. So I guess I kind of think in that same process, and I'm kind of relating it to God in the same way. But the idea is I want to grow more in the spiritual knowledge. But yeah, that's where I like.
By the way, questions are not allowed in this session. You just see the disclaimer.
After last.
My name is Padma. Personally, I'm very happy with my life, no complaints at all, and I'm very satisfied. But I always hear like Bhagavad Gita, there is something else in the, there's that eternal energy, all these things. I never understand why. Every day we cook, we eat, we are happy, we are doing everything, and we exercise, so that the life is very happy and going on. But I want to know what are these words. Why everybody is speaking about it?
Bhagavad Gita.
All these things. Why they want to
What
learn?
is the need
all-
of all these things?
Yeah,
When
what's the
when
need
life
of
is
all
going on
this?
fine, then why do we
Yeah.
need Bhagavad Gita?
Bhagavad Gita.
I mean, personally, I'm very satisfied with life. No complaints at all. But when I hear all this, okay, I have time. Let me explore more. Nothing to lose. So that's why I'm here. Sorry.
You are the right
I
place.
never heard anyone saying like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear at least one person I've met.
No, but even if there
Every
is a
time I said that
problem,
to Hamsa,
she doesn't crib about it. It's okay. It's part of life.
I
And she
always
moves
talk
on.
when Hamsa and
But
we
not
go for
everybody
walk,
can do that.
she's lot of confusion and lot of clarity. I don't know why. I have everything. What is a cribbing? Okay, it doesn't happen. That's fine. Next time something will happen if this doesn't happen. And I don't know. My 3 boys stay with me. I like heaven in the house. I don't have a big house also. I live in rental house,
Yeah.
but I
But you're
feel it's a
satisfied.
heaven. But I don't know why this eternal energy. Like you have to meditate, sitting. Why all these things should do? Why we have to do all that? I want to know. That's all.
Very nice, very nice. So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Chaturvida bhajante mam janasukritino Arjuna. He says that there are 4 types of people who approach God, who come to God. So one of the types is inquisitiveness. So people come to God out of inquisitiveness, to understand who is God, what are you, what is this. So you come under that category. And some people come under Artho, Artharthi, Jnana, Jijnasu. These are the 4 types of people. They come to Krishna. So Artho means those who are in distress. So people go to God when they are in distress. So this is one of the common things, right? Whenever they are going through some miseries, sufferings, immediately they want to go and approach God, because they know that there is some higher power. If I go there, my distress will go away. That's a belief a lot of people have. So that is called Arthos, meaning the people who are in distress. Then the next category of people is Artharthi. Artharthi means some people are desiring for wealth or money. They have a lot of desires. If I go to God, they will fulfill the desire. Right? We go to temple, we put some money in the hundi, and then we ask for a lot of things. We desire for so many things. So there's second category. And other one is the inquisitiveness. They want to learn. They want to know more about God. So artho, arthati, jnani, jijnasu. Jijnasu means those who are, one is inquisitive, one is for looking for knowledge. So these are the four types of people. They approach God, or they try to find all these things. So that's nice. So yeah. Sridu, we are introducing each other. Yeah.
Hare Krishna everyone, this is Srinivas. I know Prabhu for the past 15 years close to, and I've been going to ISKCON temple as well, but I'm not as sincere as Prabhu and Mataji, so I'm trying to improve my spiritual knowledge, at the same time try to be associate with the devotees, so that my thinking process will be improved, so that I don't have to what I'm trying to say. So my desires and thoughts will be in a better form, because when you associate with devotees, so your thought process will definitely improve. So you don't worry about the politics, you don't worry about other things. So that will actually slowly reduce. So slowly it will help me to grow in the spiritual side. So that's my goal. And I also do regular service at the temple and try to help the kitchen and whatever capacity I can.
Yeah. Thank you. Geetik, you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Geetik. Came here with some
That says everything. I'm Geetik.
Are you studying? Are you studying?
Yeah,
Which
I'm in
grade?
high school, 10th grade.
Okay.
His father is here, so I guess.
Nice.
So you're forced by your father, like my son is forced by mother?
Hopefully,
So what
Geetik-
does he do? What do you do?
he's my son.
I graduated. I was industrial systems engineering.
Oh,
I graduated December.
in
He's looking
OSU?
for job.
At OSU?
Yeah, at
Yeah,
OSU.
OSU.
Hopefully, from next week onwards, we have to drag your father. So, Dad, this is so good. Let's go.
That's the change.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my name is Krishna Smaranam Das. I've been coming to ISKCON for the past, 7-8 years. So their family and others have been very inspirational for our family and for our personal growth. Obviously, when we joined, this is called JOSD, Journey of Self-Discovery, this course, right? So we recently went to Detroit. So there they were like, oh, this home has JOSD, that home has JOSD. Generally JOSD is like the beginning level, right? Like for beginners who get introduced to ISKCON, there is a 6-part or 7-part
Some people do
structured
6
introduction into the spirituality, right? Like a lot of topics. And I thought, oh, that's nice. But in Columbus, we didn't have all that. We had Bhakti Vrikshas and all, but it was not covering all the basics. So then I saw this, okay, now it's an opportunity for me to go learn all the basics. So that's where I am.
Thank you. Yeah.
So we can go.
Yeah. We are all done. I think Sudha.
Hare Krishna, this is Sudha. As my husband said, we introduced ISKCON from past 11 years or 12 years, or more than that, I don't remember.
Almost 15 years now.
Close to, close to 15 years. But recently I started chanting all 16 rounds from
Wow.
past 2 months.
Nice.
It took a long time for me to start chanting. I started chanting, but to come to the 16 rounds, it took a long time. I also do some service, but not as much as Prabhu and Mataji.
Some service, Mataji. You do some service. Some service.
Not SUM, not SYM.
Mataji does wonderful garlands. If you have seen the deity pictures, right?
And then breakfast.
Once
Yeah,
in a
Srinivas
while,
and Sudha, they have been coming from Srinivas. She's Srinivas and Sudha together. So, yeah, they have been coming from last 15 years. They got introduced into 115. They have been coming and doing a lot of services. We'd like to see you both. in this
So
session.
Srinivas and I worked together long ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Small world. Yeah, next.
Namaste. This is Samata. I'm actually Sudha's friend.
Ah.
She always used to talk, but I never got a chance to come here. I did attend few of the occasions at her house, but I never been here. But the flyer sounded to be like interesting,
Okay.
so I thought I'd come with you today.
Okay.
Yeah, she reminded me this morning and also yesterday. So
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
we are like basically it's my first time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
My name's Anish.
I am also dragged by my mother.
No, she kind of like talked me into it. Like I kind of like sort of like dragged into sort of like kind of interested in it. So like I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you for being
You
here.
are the funny friend.
Oh yeah.
I'm Panitan. I'm keeping my dad and my mom company.
Taking care of your parents.
Yep.
From now on, that's it.
Yeah.
You got it.
So my name is Meena. So since 3 years I've been coming to ISKCON. So you always do what your husband wants, like whatever he wants, kids wants. So this is my time. So I'm here to learn from Prabhuji, the basic. 3 years ago I started chanting and everything with Prem Sindhu Prabhu, but I don't know much about ISKCON and all that. So I'm here, that's why, to learn more.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. I'm Hedana Chandra Das. I've been trying to practice Krishna consciousness for the last 15 years, but I'm not there yet. So I do some little services at the temple with the association of Tirtha Prabhu, Sita Sundari Mataji, Krishna Swaran Prabhu, Srinivas Manda Prabhu, Sudha Mataji. So we all see each other. So I was also in the same boat, I was introduced through Navin Krishna Prabhu, who is one of our temple member as well. So I was in the same boat, okay, let's go and try it out. Things were going fine for me, but I thought, let me just go and try it out. So that inquisitiveness, learning and everything started from that moment. So it has really helped me a lot. And of course, this session, we want to learn. It's every day is a learning. It never ends, right? So there's always new things that we learn all the time. So I have my wife and daughter, and my son is Giti. So they'll be joining too next week onwards.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for coming. Are you comfortable there, Samata? You want to come this side so that we can see each other? Is that okay?
You can take it in your
If you don't mind, can I ask you one question?
Yes, please.
No, you already said that we got lot of benefits out of this service after joining.
Yeah.
Can you say few benefits? Because I don't know, I'm curious. You said it's lot of benefits,
What
so
is the
many
lot of
times.
benefits?
But how do you find out that benefits? How do you know after joining this only you got those benefits?
Right. No, it's a good question. I'm glad you asked. So, one of the things is, of course, there are very few people like you, very rare that they are completely satisfied in their life without any issues in life, very rarely we find it. But personally, I used to have a lot of challenges in my life, meaning not out of distress or anything like that. I used to have a lot of bad habits, a lot of anger tantrums, I used to be extremely angry. For everything, I used to get ticked off very quickly. These kinds of things I used to have all the time. And also, I never used to believe in God. I was kind of an atheistic person right from the, my parents used to believe in God, my family, they worship Lord Balaji all the time, so that culture is there in the family. But personally, I never used to believe in God. So just go to temple like a ritual, go there with parents and then come back and all things like that. Then slowly I got into bad habits in my life. When I was in engineering and things like that, I started smoking, I started boozing, drinking. I was kind of a heavy smoker, heavy, like a chain smoker pretty much. So I used to do all that before coming into this path. So all these things were there, but I used to think that okay, life is still good. I am happy. I am enjoying my life, and everything was fine. But until I came to know this philosophy, because my wife was very devotional right from the beginning. So she used to go to temple. I used to follow her just like that. She used to go to temple, and then I just follow her. I used to sit outside of the temple, chat with other people. That's what I used to do. I was not even going inside the temple also. I just used to sit outside, and there used to be a couple of people like me. Just used to sit outside and then chat some politics and do something, and then just come out. That's all I used to do. But then slowly I started doing service in the ISKCON temple. So I saw the need in the temple. They were looking for volunteers to do some service. So I had that some reason I had that inclination to do some service or seva. I started doing the seva in the temple. Then slowly few words of Gita go into my ears. So then I started listening to some philosophy a little bit. Then a lot of questions I used to ask. Why should I believe in God? Then slowly somehow I could relate what Bhagavad Gita is saying with life. At some point, after hearing few things, I said, yeah, this makes sense. Whatever Bhagavad Gita is saying, I can relate that to my own life. So when I started thinking about that, then my inquisitiveness increased. Okay, now I need to learn more. So then even though I was thinking like you, I am completely satisfied, happy. Then after hearing the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, then I really understood actually that I was not really, I was not really happy. The real happiness is there somewhere else. The real goal of life is something else. So then that thought came into my mind. Then I started learning more. Then I realized I lost so much in my life. Even though I was happy before also. But then once you start understanding the philosophy, then you know what is real happiness. Then you feel that whatever happiness I was feeling, whatever satisfaction I was feeling, that's not the real thing. There is something real beyond all these things. I started learning that. Then with the practice of spirituality, my temper tantrums, anger tantrums, that slowly vanished. Even now also I get angry, but not like before. Before my family used to be scared of me. My own sisters, my brothers, they used to be scared of me. I don't want to touch this guy. It was like that. But slowly with the practice of spiritual life, my attitude towards people, my attitude towards general, family, the loving relationships, the compassion towards other living entities or other people, that slowly changed. So, it's a long way for me also. It's not that I am there at certain level. But with the limited practice I did in last 15 years, whatever the little practice I did, so I could see personal change in myself, the way I behave with others, the way I show love to my family or my kid or some other people, the perception when I'm going through struggles in my life, the entire perception changed. How I am able to deal with those challenges, things got changed. So that's what it is. But more, today's topic I think will address some of your questions also. Okay, so thank you all so much. So housekeeping items. So there is a bathroom right behind you. There is one bathroom there, and then there is one bathroom on the upper level. Feel free to go whenever you want. So again, this is very informal session. I don't want to make it sound like a formal session. I am not a guru. I am not trying to be a teacher or anything like that. This session is just for me to teach whatever I learned. That's all. We are all at the same level. Don't worry. Any question, feel free to ask. In my opinion, there is no silly question. There is no stupid question. So any doubt, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. And there is nobody to judge here. Oh, why is she asking this question? Why is he asking this question? There is absolutely nothing like that. There is no judging here. So feel free to ask any question, whatever comes to your mind with respect to spiritual subjects. Feel free to ask. We are here to learn. So that's what it is, right? And 6 to 6:45, the idea is to have dinner first. That way, early dinner is better always. So have dinner and then we can sit, discuss however long we want. It doesn't matter. I'm available. So after this program, so we can sit and discuss that. And in between also, if you are hungry, or after the discourse, if you are hungry, feel free to take more. So no worries, do not hesitate. That's that. And introduction to the seminar and modules. So this is the overview of the course that we are going to discuss in these 7 weeks or 8 weeks, 8 sessions. So the first session is search for happiness. So in this particular session, today we are going to discuss what is happiness, why we are hankering for happiness, first of all. Like you said, you are already very happy, but we will see why, what the real happiness is. We will discuss that today. So whatever the happiness that we are experiencing now, is that the real happiness, or is there something beyond that? So we'll discuss that. And what are the different kinds of problems we face? What is that is stopping us to be happy in our life? So we'll discuss all those topics in this particular session today. And then the next session is going to be, does God exist? So a lot of times people question, is really God there? If God is there, why there are so many problems in this world? Why there is evil? So if God is there, why can't He stop all these things? Is He really there, or God is dead? Some people say God is dead. He's not even there. If He's there, then why is He looking at all these things and He's not doing anything? Right? If God is all powerful, all knowing, everything is there, then why can't He stop all this nonsense? Why He's not doing it? Is He really there? So we will address that. Does God exist? First of all, and then who am I? So is the science of soul. Who am I? Are we really these bodies made up of all these different elements, or are we beyond these bodies? So we'll discuss this topic. We hear the word soul many times. So what exactly soul means? What is that soul means? So we'll address the point here. And then another very popular question or confusion, especially coming from Indian background or Hindu background, this question comes up, one God or many gods. So, in some religions, they believe in only one God. That's it. They don't have any other concept. But for us, we say that there are, 33 million gods or 330 million gods, right? So, is there only one God, or there are many gods? And if you say that there is only one God, then who is that God? Then if you say that there is only one God, and if I tell that name, then what about all these people? What about other gods we hear right from the childhood? We hear so many other names, other gods. Then who are these? So are they gods or something else? So we'll address that. Is there one God or multiple gods? And this is another very popular subject. People always get confused, or why do bad things happen to good people? So I have been doing good throughout my life. I am very pious. I have never harmed anybody in my life in all this time. But still, sometimes, bad things happen to me. Why am I suffering? When I am doing everything good, why God puts me in this situation? Why should I suffer? So why do bad things happen to good people? So that's the topic we'll discuss. And then what is yoga? So again, we hear this term yoga. Yoga has become very popular. It's kind of a household term. Yoga has become so popular, especially in last 25-30 years. Every nook and corner we see yoga studios, yoga programs, morning Zoom calls on yoga. So all these things we hear. But what exactly yoga means? What is yoga? Is yoga simply means doing some postures, morning and doing asanas? Is that the yoga, or yoga means something beyond that? What is that? So we'll understand yoga. And then finally, we will see what is the practical application of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, we all know, is a sacred scripture for all of us. And then what is the relevance of Bhagavad Gita? So what is there to understand how we can practice Bhagavad Gita in our life on a practical basis. So we are so busy with so many things in life, but is it possible, or is it even practical to apply Bhagavad Gita principles in our life? So we'll briefly touch base on that. So these are the 7 modules. Usually each module, one session should be good. So 7 sessions we should be able to complete it. But some of the topics may go a little longer. So in that case, we may extend it by another week. Or in between, if there is a, if we cancel the session for some reason because of the festivals in the temple or some other services, then this may become 8 to 9 week course. So and whatever I am going to speak, again, I did not write all these things. This is not my own knowledge. This is all coming from our sacred scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, and also this is based on teachings based on Prabhupada. How many of you have seen this personality, photo of this picture of this personality, this right side? Have you seen him?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you go to any ISKCON temple,
Yeah.
if you go to any ISKCON temple, you are welcomed by Prabhupada. Prabhupada Murthy is there. Pretty much every ISKCON temple you see him. So he's the founder of ISKCON organization. Okay? He established ISKCON in 1966 actually. He came to America, USA in 1965, and then established ISKCON organization in 1966. So he left this world in 1977. But he is the one who translated Bhagavad Gita from Sanskrit to English. So that's called Bhagavad Gita as it is. There are so many versions of Bhagavad Gita, but the version that is translated and commented by Prabhupada is Bhagavad Gita as it is. So whatever I am going to speak in these 7 sessions is the knowledge that I gained from the books of Prabhupada and from Bhagavad Gita. That's where it's coming from. Okay. So now, today's topic. Any other questions before we start? Today I know it's going to run a little late because we had to do these introductions, first time. So that's why. Otherwise, from next week onwards, we'll try to start on time. If everybody's on time here by 6, we can have dinner, a little bit of socialization, so that we can start by 6:45 and we can end by 8 o'clock. That way, you all can have your rest of the day after that. So search for happiness, right? One question if I ask all of you, what is the purpose of life? What are we doing? Whatever we are doing in life, why are we doing that? Feel free, that's what I said, it's just, it's interactive. Again, there is no wrong answer. Whatever we are trying to do in our life, why are we doing it? To do what?
To be happy and enjoy life.
To be happy and enjoy life. So that's the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to enjoy. Okay, that's what Sita says. Anybody agrees, disagrees with that? What is the purpose of life?
To know why you are here. What
To-
is
By knowing, what would you do? Why do you want to know something?
that gives some kind of maybe focus to your life. How to take it forward.
Okay, wonderful. Anything else? Why do we do anything that we are doing now? Sahit, what do you think?
No, I do it to be happy.
To be happy, right? Whatever we do,
I
we want
don't
to
care about my purpose in life.
Right. But you are doing everything to be happy. You want to be happy, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Whatever you are doing is to keep you happy.
Yeah.
Right? Agree? We don't agree with that, or anybody has different answers?
I don't know, every day I have few goals. If I do that, that's it,
That's
my
it.
day is done. Next day,
You got another
reset.
goal.
Again, same thing. I do like that. I don't feel happy, I don't feel sad. It's not a goal for me, like being happy, being sad. Like as a mother, I have few things to do. I will do it that day. I'll sleep happily next day. That is my life.
Yeah.
I don't think what it is coming from
What is
out
coming
of that.
from?
Yeah.
So apparently, whatever we are doing, so you may not realize why you are doing it. You are doing it as a duty, but there is some kind of a satisfaction or happiness that you are deriving. Just imagine you are doing something every day. You are frustrated at the end of it. Would you continue to do that every day, day after day after day? You are feeling very, of course, out of duty you may be able to do
As
certain
a
things,
mother,
yeah.
dealing with husband and all, as a wife, it's very hard. But we don't leave it.
Right,
We
right.
make a modification how we can be
Correct.
happy and do that.
Correct.
So, even though it is a frustrating thing, we don't leave the thing to do.
Yeah.
So
Out
we
of
should
love, you
change it. We should change, like we should accept it and love it. That's all. So
You adjust your attitude towards it,
Yeah.
and then you adjust your thing, and then you do that. Yeah. That's true.
same with boys, dealing with kids. So everything in life, everything in
It's
life.
not easy,
To tell the
correct.
truth, yeah.
It's not easy. It's not
But
easy.
we're accepting it and enjoying it. And I'm not complaining it also. I'm enjoying it, doing it. So
Yeah.
I can add one more detail.
Yes.
Like, happiness comes from contentment.
Okay. How does the contentment
what do
come
you
from?
mean by content?
Contentment is never lasting, or like you have continuous desires.
Okay.
If you have continuous flow of desires, there can never be contentment, there can never be happiness.
Mm.
So once you have your contentment in whatever it is,
Mm.
like today you want to buy a car, now I want to buy a bigger car,
Mm.
now I want to buy a bigger house, like there is no end for those desires.
Mm. Mm.
So I see like any kind of material desires is what you need to come out of. That can itself get you to happiness, one kind of happiness. Like then what you would start looking into is more into yourself, and you can try to change. Like you had lots of stuff inside you before even going there, but I feel that's where you get into the channel of happiness. Like first thing is contentment.
So goal of life is to be content.
Be contentment. That way you would kind of get to whatever. Like
Okay. So contentment, happiness, basically they go together.
Yeah.
Kind of. If you are content, then you are happy.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. Yeah. Anyone else wants to say anything? What are you trying to achieve by by doing all these activities every day? Any other additions? Do you have anything to say?
You're talking about purpose of life or why we
The goal of life. Why do we do whatever we do? Why do we do whatever we do?
We have to do it.
What is that?
We have to do it.
We
to
just have to
survive.
just do it. Yeah, so basically, whatever we are trying to do is to gain some happiness out of it. Ultimately, we all want to be happy. Nobody wants to be miserable in our life, right? Do we do anything so that we get some misery out of it? We don't do. So our goal is to be happy all the time. That's what our goal is. In general, that's what we do. Of course, you are doing your duty. Out of duty, like as a wife, you do your duty. As a husband, I do my duty. But ultimately, we are going to earn some money. We are working. We are doing this. We are doing different programs. We do all these things. Why are we doing all these things? Ultimately, to be happy. That's what we want, isn't it? Do you agree?
Yeah, probably. But what is happiness? What makes someone happy?
Yes, we are.
Whatever makes you happy is not me. It's going to make me happy. Right?
Correct.
So
We'll come there. Yeah, that's the topic we are going to discuss today. One of the topics is that only in this session. So, but our goal is to be happy all the time. That's what it is, right? So, then we will see what makes us special as human beings. So, we'll discuss that. And then, why is happiness elusive? Means sometimes, not sometimes. Why elusive? Elusive means what is elusive? It's very, very hard to attain. So here, when we are talking about happiness, why is happiness elusive? Means why is this permanent happiness very difficult? Permanent means being happy all the time. All the time, being happy all the time. Okay. Already some people may be thinking that I'm already happy all the time. But in this session, we'll see certain things. And then what is the real happiness? What is the real problems versus real happiness? What is the relative happiness versus real problems? We'll see that. And then are we addressing the root cause of all our problems? Because why we cannot be happy all the time is because of the problems, right? Because we have some problems in life, because certain things we are experiencing. That's the reason we are not experiencing happiness all the time. So are we really addressing the root cause of all these problems that we are facing? So we'll see that. And then what is the solution to get the real happiness? Okay? So that's what we are going to see. And yeah, we just discussed this. What is your goal of life? So we work, we spend time with family, we spend with time with friends, we go for shopping, we do sports, all these things we are doing, so many activities that we are doing in our life, ultimately to be happy. That's what we are doing, all these things. Whatever we are doing is to keep ourselves happy. So in our scriptures it is mentioned that human life is very, very rare and special. That's what we hear all the time. All the scriptures, all the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, or Vedic scriptures say that human life is very, very important and very, very special. So what is so special about human beings? What is so special about humans? If you look at this particular picture, so what do you see in this picture?
T-shirts, colors, organized.
Yeah. So they are all T-shirts, right? They are all T-shirts. But then you see different colors and sizes. So whenever we look at this thing, whenever we look at, there is more than one category, we see some differences and we see some common things, right? As soon as we see some different categories, like in the previous picture we saw T-shirts, but there are different categories. There is common thing. The common is T-shirt. Everything is T-shirt. But what is the difference? There are different colors. So as soon as we see that there is more than one category, we understand that there are some differences and there are some common things also in that. So we see so many living entities around us, right? We see all different types of living entities, human beings, different types of animals and things like that. So we can classify these two types of living entities, again these categories, is humans and animals. So you're all with me so far? So humans and animals, these are the two categories. So as soon as we see the two categories, what is common between humans and animals? And what are the differences between animals and humans? What is common between us and animals?
Eating food.
Typically when you see National Geographic Channel, right, or when you look at National Geographic Channel, if you look at it, sometimes these photographers, videographers, they go into forest, they make a lot of nice movies, nice serials about the animals. When you look at all these things, what is the activity that you see most of the time in animals?
The hunts.
Animals, yeah. Animals hunt another animal. Yeah. What are the different things that animals do? What do you see? What kind of activities animals do?
They eat, sleep.
Eat,
Yeah.
sleep. What else?
They are with the family. Sometimes.
Priya is thinking, what is this silly question? Why is he asking? I will come there. There's a reason why I'm asking this question. So, when we look at the animals, typically what kind of activities the animals do? They sleep, they eat, they mate, and they try to defend themselves. Right? They try to protect themselves. Those are the activities that animals do. These are the common things between human beings and animals. So what are the human beings doing? Same thing. We eat, sleep, mating, and defending ourselves. Okay? So then what are the differences between them and us? Is there any difference? Is there any difference? What is that, Raja?
They are animals, we are animals. What? Type of animal only. So the
Have you ever thought about that? What is the difference between animals and us? What makes human beings so special?
We can have restraint over our intentions.
We can
That-
change ourselves.
I mean, they have a certain intention. I mean, if they are looking to go for, like, you can't expect a lion to eat grass. Right? Right? I mean, it cannot restrain itself from eating or doing certain kind of things. I mean, we could do something like that.
we think,
Okay, so we have some determination basically
Yeah.
to stop, to do or do
We can
not
stop,
do
we can
something.
change,
We have more control. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
we think and they can't think.
They can't think. Animals can't think.
Animals
They-
are sharp, like you
Yeah,
can
they
dolphins.
think they-
Dolphins and orcas are like really
Babaji says that animals cannot think. How many people agree to that point?
No.
Yeah, so sure.
They're very sharp.
Can they think or don't they think?
They can.
They can think. Animals do think. Right? If you keep some kind of a food in front of an animal, a dog will think and just go away. Some things they eat. So animals also have that thinking. They also think. Right? Then what is so special about human beings? Have you ever thought about that? What is that?
Smarter than animals.
We are smarter than animals. In what way? How are we smarter than animals?
To question the same question of why we are here.
So we do have in common. So what do we have common? So there is a verse in our scriptures. Okay, this is from one of the sections in Mahabharata called Hitopadesh. So in that particular section, it tells what is common between human beings and animals and how human beings are special. This particular verse says that. Okay, it says, Ahara nidra bayamaitunamcha samanyametat pashubhi naranam dharmohitesham adiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubhi samana. So most of the words are very, you can understand from the words. So, but see what it says is Ahara, Nidra, Baya, Maituna. These are the four things. Ahara means eating, food, so eating. Nidra means sleeping, right? So, Baya means defending, so trying to protect ourselves. Baya means fear, Baya means defending oneself, protecting oneself, right? And then Maituna. Maituna means sexual activity or enjoying propensity. So these four, Ahara, Nidra, Baya, Maitunamcha, Samanya Metat, Pashubhi, Narana. Pashubhi means animals, Nara means human beings. Samanya Metat means these are common, same. These activities are common between animals and human beings. But then how are human beings special? The next line says, dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesha. Adhika means extra. Vishesha means special. So what is the speciality about human beings? Dharma. The ability to follow dharma. So we'll see what is dharma. Okay? So dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho. Dharmena hina pasvi samana. If the human being is not following the dharma, so we'll discuss what is the dharma. But if the human being is not following the dharma, then there is no difference between animal and human beings. And I am not saying this. This is coming from scriptures. Scriptures. Okay. So we'll see what is that dharma. So we just talked about it. If you want to remember this easily, the common is seed. SEED. Sleeping, eating, enjoying, and defending. So that is the common between animals and human beings. So these are the things I put. Right? So it's the same thing. So eating, we are eating, animals are eating, and then somebody may question, no, Prabhu, why are you saying this? Animals are, they cannot come and eat on the dining table. We are eating on a dining table. We have a nice plate. We are eating biryani. They are not eating that. You can say so many things. But the activity is common. We may be able to eat sophisticatedly, but the activity is same. Same thing with sleeping. And in fact, animals are better than us in many of these. Can we eat like an elephant? Elephant is much more powerful. It can eat tons of food. We can't even eat that. So animal is better in eating than us. Same thing with sleeping. There are some animals, they can sleep throughout the day 24/7 and rest of the, for months they can sleep like that. Many hours they can sleep. Can we do that? We cannot do that. So animal is better in that in some sense. And enjoying propensity. Enjoying, the mating concept. So mating, can we compete with some animals? They can mate in a day 10 times, 15 times. They can procreate many children throughout in their lifetime. Can we do that? That's enjoying. They can do better than that. And defending. So there are some animals extremely powerful. But of course, human beings are building nuclear weapons and so many things. But ultimately, that is to defend ourselves. That is to protect ourselves. So the point is that these are the activities. Seed is common between animals and human beings. And in fact, some of them, they do better than us. So yeah, this is the same thing. So the dog is eating under the table and we are eating above the table. That's the only difference. Otherwise, we the common thing. Okay. So how are we special? We'll come there. So how are we special? The special is dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesha. So what is the dharma? What is the dharma? So human beings are equipped with higher intelligence. Intelligence is there for lower species also, the animals also. But their intelligence is restricted to only these 4 activities. It doesn't work beyond that. They use their intelligence, they use their discrimination power only for these 4 activities. They cannot use beyond that. But human beings are given higher intelligence to question, why is this happening to me? What is the purpose of life? Who is God? Why I have to go through these struggles in life? All these questions can be asked only by human beings. Animals cannot ask that question. Animals do not have that discrimination power. They do have discrimination power, but not like us, where we can question all these things. So that is the dharma of human beings. Dharma has multiple meanings. One of the meanings of dharma is religion. Another meaning of dharma is duty. Another meaning of dharma is intrinsic nature of anything. Like for example, the nature of sugar is to be sweet. That's the nature of the sugar. You cannot separate the sweetness from sugar, right? So that is called dharma of sugar is to be sweet. Dharma of water is to be liquid, fluid, right? Similarly, dharma of human beings is the intrinsic nature of the human being is to inquire, what are we? Who are we? Why are we going through these sufferings or whatever we are going through in life? Why are we going through all these things? Is there a God? What is God? Who is God? So all these things can be inquired only by human beings. So that is the specialty of it. Okay. So there is a just now I think somebody mentioned that the animals do not have that discrimination power to when they want to do something they'll do it. They don't have that control power. So there is a sloka in our scriptures. It goes like this: Kuranga matanga patanga bringa meena hata pancha vireva pancha eka pramadisa katantna hanyate yesevate panchabi eva pancha. I mean there are so many these things, rhyming words are there. So but we have 5 senses. right? You all know the five senses. We have panchendriyas, we have five senses. We have karmendriyas and jnanendriyas. Karmendriyas means the working senses. Karma means activity. Okay? We have working senses and also jnanendriyas. Jnana means knowledge. Knowledge acquiring senses and working senses. So the working senses are like hands, the legs, the eyes, the mouth to eat. Right? So all these things are working. We are able to perform some activity. Okay? So here, Kuranga means deer. Okay? The deer by the urges of ears. Have you ever seen or did you hear about deer? How one captures the deer? How the hunter captures the deer? By playing a music. Very nice music when the hunter plays. Then the deer gets attracted by that sound. By hearing that sound, it gets attracted, and then the hunter can easily catch the deer. Live, I'm talking about. Otherwise, they can shoot and kill anyway. That is always there. But how one catches the deer? By playing the nice music. Then the deer gets attracted. Even though deer understands that yes, she's in danger, or she's in danger, but still she's attracted to the sound so much. That particular sense of hearing, she gets attracted so much, and then it gets caught by the hunter. So, and elephant is extremely powerful. It's very, very, extremely powerful, very, very powerful elephant. Even matanga means elephant. So such kind of a powerful elephant also, if you see, in temples we see some elephants, huge, gigantic elephants. But the person who is controlling the elephant is holding a small stick. It's not like a huge stick, it's a very, very small stick. But whatever this guy says, the elephant follows, simply follows. Right? So this elephant is attracted by the touch. That is one of the indriyas we have, sense objects. So by the urges of genitals, how do they catch elephant? Have you ever seen how they catch the huge elephant, he elephant? So what they do to catch a he elephant, they send a she elephant first. So and the he elephant gets attracted to the she elephant, then starts following that she elephant. Right? The person already trained the she elephant so that the he elephant can follow. Then finally they make a huge ditch or pit that is covered with all the grass and everything. Then as it gets closer, the he elephant gets closer to the she elephant, then she elephant moves away, then the he elephant gets into the ditch. That's how the male elephant is caught. Just because the male elephant is not able to control its sense of touch or sense of genitals, it just keeps following the female elephant, and then finally he gets trapped. And then patanga means the moth or firefly. So firefly, because of the urge of the eyes. So if you see the firefly, whenever it sees the fire, because of if you see the flames, it's like a dancing flame. The moth or the firefly gets attracted to that fire. Even that's the dancing flame, it knows that if it goes closer to it, it can feel the heat, but still it cannot control the urge of the eyes. It wants to go closer and closer and closer. Then what happens? The firefly gets into the fire and it gets killed. It gets trapped. Similarly, the bee. A bee can drill a huge wooden piece just like that within few minutes. It's so powerful. A bee can make a hole into the wood. But the same bumblebee, because by the urge of nose to smell flowers, it goes and lands on a flower. Then in the evening the flower gets closed. It gets trapped into the flower. And then it gets suffocated and dies. But it's extremely powerful. It can drill a hole into a big wall or big giant, the wooden piece. But the same bee, when it cannot control its smelling, the nose, urges of the nose, it gets trapped into the flowers. And the one is the fish. Fish is driven by the urge of tongue. So how do one catch fish? It's very difficult to catch fish in water because it flows very fast. But simply because of the people who catch fish, what they do, fishermen, they put a hook and then they put some kind of a food. So because of the urge of the tongue, it gets caught. So these are the five senses: ears, genitals, eyes, the smell, and the tongue. These are the five senses. These are the five examples where the senses are not controlled. They get trapped by all these things. Why am I saying this? So if we as human beings, if we do not have the control like that, if we are not able to control the senses, so then we end up in the same difficulties like the other animals that we see. So we also have these five senses, right? even if any one of our sense, even if any one of the senses drags us away, if you get addicted to one of the senses, we will end up like that. The Bhagavad Gita clearly says in one of the verses says that even if one of the senses goes astray, if you cannot control even one sense, all other four senses also will follow that, and finally you will be in a misery. That's what this particular verse says. So the special importance of human life is Atato Brahma Jijnasa. It is called, in our scriptures, it is called Atato Brahma Jijnasa. Jijnasa means inquisitiveness. So finding out who we are, what are we. And so the questions that I mentioned, who is God? If there is a God, do I really care about Him? Why should I care about Him? What do I have to do anything with God? Is it important to understand Him? Right? Why difficulties are there in life? So how to overcome these difficulties? This is called Atato Brahma Jijnasa. That can be done only by human beings. No other living entities can do that. No other animals cannot do that. And the human beings, there are, these are the 4 special gifts awarded to human beings. We are saying we are special, right? So what are the speciality? So A, B, C, D, very easy to remember. The first one is seed, sleeping, enjoying, eating, and defending, right? And the ability, the 4 special gifts that are given to human beings are, first A is ability to engage in the spiritual inquiry. That's what I just mentioned. To understand who we are, what is the purpose of life, how can I attain something, understanding the God, relationship between us and God, all these things can be understood only by making the spiritual inquiry. We have that ability. And then the bliss, to seek higher levels of pleasure. So there are different levels of pleasure one can feel. So one is the bodily pleasure. The bodily pleasure can be obtained by engaging our senses, different senses. So by watching some movie, you may feel happy. By performing some activity with your hand, you may feel happy. These are all certain bodily pleasures. You engage your senses and you get the pleasure. That is a bodily pleasure. So that is the lowest level of pleasure actually. Even animals can get that pleasure. So that is a bodily pleasure. The next level is emotional pleasure. Emotional pleasure means pleasure, feeling the pleasure at the mind. At the mind level, we feel some happiness and satisfaction. So that's the next level. And the third level is intellectual pleasure. Intellectual pleasure means by understanding some spiritual subjects or certain things, using our intelligence, we feel happy. When we invent something, when we make something, we feel extremely happy by that. So that is the bliss we get. So that is the intellectual pleasure. And the ultimate pleasure, the highest pleasure one can experience is the spiritual pleasure. So we will talk about the spiritual pleasure later. And then the third one is the special gift that is awarded to human beings is the choices. The power to choose responses. So even animals can choose. It's not that animals do not have the discrimination. Animals can make some choices. Meaning when you put some kind of a food, animal can say that no, I don't want to eat this. Dog, if you put some kind of a food in front of the dog may choose not to eat. So the choice is there for the animals also, but their choice is restricted to only those 4 things that we talked about, 4 activities. But we have power to choose the responses. When certain things happen to us, we have a choice to respond in different ways. Animals cannot respond in different ways. It knows only one certain way. If you go and do something to your dog, immediately it responds in a certain way. It cannot really, have a choice that should I do like this, should I do like this, should I do like this. It cannot think like that. But we can choose how we can respond, how we can react in our life. That ability we have choice. And the last one is determination. So we have higher determination to do anything like that. So to do all these 3 above, so we have determination. So if you keep some kind of a food in front of an animal, it may have some determination to wait for some time. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, after that it cannot wait. It goes and eats or it engages in that activity anyway. So, but we have higher level of determination. If we want to do something, we can do that. That gift is given by God to all of us. So this is the ABCD. These are the 4 special gifts awarded to human beings. So that's how we are different from animals. ABCD. Okay. So if we waste gift of higher intelligence, don't be miserly with your intelligence. Use it for inquiry. So it's like there is one example. Like somebody, there is one farmer. He's been farming for many years. So using manual methods and everything, and he gets a out of lottery. He gets a lottery. He wins a lottery, and he gets a $100,000 or around $150,000 Benz car or Mercedes or BMW car, right? $150,000 or Tesla. Now Tesla has become so common. So let's use the example of Tesla. So now this guy gets it, you know, and then he uses it for farming. He takes it to the field and puts a buffalo to that and does that. Do you appreciate that? What is this guy doing? After many people do not even get this opportunity of owning a Tesla or some powerful big car, and now he got this and he's using it for this purpose. Similarly, who do we call miser? When the word miser is used, when do we say somebody is miser? Have you heard of this miser, Samataji? Have you heard its words miser before, anytime?
I heard it.
Miser means what?
Not using money.
Not using what?
Money. It comes usually with the money related
Money,
stuff.
yeah, right, exactly. So if somebody has a lot of money, but he doesn't use it for anything, then we call it, what kind of a miser is this? He has everything, but he's not using it. We call it, not only money, in general we use it for money, that's what we said, but he has so much knowledge, but he just keeps it to himself, he doesn't share with anybody, he doesn't talk about anything. So similarly, if you have something, but when you don't use it, then we call that person as miser. Somebody has super intelligent, very, very intelligent, but he doesn't do anything. Don't be miser. You have so much intelligence, why don't you use it for some good purpose? Similarly, don't be miserly with your intelligence, use it to inquire. So we have this special gift that is given to all of us as human beings. We have to use that. Don't be a miser to use our intelligence. Yeah? So if we don't explore this potential, that's what our scripture says. Okay, that's what our scripture says. So we go back to the same verse. Ahara nidra bayamaitunamsa samanya metat pashubi narana dharmo hitesham adiko vishesha dharmena hina pasubisama. It's like we are sophisticated, well dressed, polished to like animal. So Prabhupada, he said that animals are running on 4 legs, human beings are running on 4 wheels. Otherwise, the activities remain same. If we do not use our God-given intelligence and abilities that we have, then it's pretty much, there's no difference. At the superficial level, we are doing the same activity. So that's what it is. I mean, the purpose is not to insult anybody. That's not the intention of this. But we have to understand what is, what the scripture says. Right? Okay. So now we understand that, what is the speciality about human beings and, the ability to inquire all these things. Now let's see how this is related to our happiness. Why is the real happiness, the true long-lasting happiness is elusive? Meaning elusive means why is it so difficult or hard to achieve? And we will see what is real eternal happiness versus temporary happiness and why we don't feel that happiness all the time. Because we experience some problems in our life. Whenever we have problems in our life, we don't feel happiness because there is a problem. And when we say problem, what exactly the problem is? Is it a real problem or is it a relatively simple or temporary problem? We'll define all the terms. Okay. So now everyone is looking for happiness. That's what we thought. And what kind of happiness you want? So what kind of happiness everybody is looking for? We all want happiness which is permanent. I want to be happy all the time. I do not want to see any distress in my life. I always want to be happy no matter what. That is called permanent happiness. We are all looking for that. Aren't we looking for the permanent happiness? Does anybody want only temporary? I just want to be happy only today, tomorrow I am fine, even I am misery. We don't say that. We always want to be happy. We are all looking for the permanent happiness. Sahit, you are okay, right? You are looking for permanent happiness.
Yeah.
Right? So we all want permanent happiness. Okay. Fanita, you are okay. You seem so sad when I put this permanent happiness. And the happiness has to be ever increasing. It's not only that okay, I get certain happiness and I just stay there. No, I want to see more happiness day by day. I want to see more happiness out of that. It's not only permanent. I want to feel that happiness more and more. Every time I do this, I should feel more happy. Okay. The third thing is variety. Variety is mother of enjoyment. There is a statement, there is a saying that variety is mother of enjoyment. If you keep doing same thing, you feel happy, but we always want, there's a nature, we want to try different things. We want that variety, but at the same time, we want to feel ever increasing permanent happiness. Don't we want this kind of happiness all the time? Yeah? Yes or no? Priyaji, it is possible. Don't get discouraged. It is
That's
possible.
fine.
So what kind of happiness that we are finding right now in our life? Okay. So it is called relative happiness. So here, like throughout the week we work so hard, and when we get a weekend we feel so happy. Wow, this is happiness. I'm relaxed. I'm really happy now. Why you are feeling that happiness? Because you worked so hard for last 1 week. Now you are feeling that happiness. It is like you put a person, you take a person, you push him under the water, you dunk him under the water, and leave him for 30 seconds or something. He's feeling breathless. Then you lift him. He feels, I'm so happy. He feels so happy. So the happiness that we feel now is that it is a relief between the struggles that we are going through. Whenever we feel some relief, then we think that is the happiness. Okay? That's what it is. And the happiness that we feel now is decreasing over the time. You may feel extremely happy, and slowly over the time it keeps decreasing. Why it is decreasing? Why it will decrease? I'll let you know. I'll tell you why it decreases. The same happiness that we feel at certain age, we may not be able to do same thing over the time. After certain time, because of our body, because of so many things, we will not be able to perform the same thing after a certain number of years. The happiness that you get at certain point, you may not be able to get the same happiness by doing certain things. So that is the relative happiness that we are experiencing right now. Because we feel that absence of misery, we feel that is happiness. Or the temporary relief that we get from something, we feel that is happiness. We are experiencing that kind of happiness. And and also the happiness that we see is like a mirage. So it's like a post-dated check. If you keep doing these kinds of things, you will get some happiness in the future. It's like a mirage. We see that there is a real water. It appears to be very real, but it's not really. There is no water, but it appears to be very real. So the happiness that we are experiencing, yes, it feels that it's a real happiness, but it's not really the true permanent happiness that we are experiencing. Okay? So when I say relative happiness, temporary happiness, what are the, how do we understand that? So when I say the temporary, as the word itself says, temporary means what? It has a beginning and it has an end. If there is no beginning and end, why do we call it temporary? Right? Any temporary activity has a beginning and end. So the temporary or relative happiness that we experience in this life right now is basically it has a beginning and end. It starts somewhere and it ends somewhere. Right? For example, you go to, or you may be watching a movie. You are so excited to watch a movie or whatever. Then throughout the movie, you may be feeling very, very happy. But after that movie ends, it's over. After that, the story is over. Then during that movie, you may be feeling some happiness. Or you like some food. You love certain kind of a food. Then the food is kept in front of you. While you are eating, you feel very happy. After that, that is gone. Or if you overeat, in fact, it gives more trouble than pleasure. Right? So, beginning and end. And pain an integral part of this pleasure. So, every pleasure that we are experiencing right now, there is a pain already seated in it. Okay? There is a pain already seated in it. Misery is already seated in it. And I will tell you what it is. And then it is limited. We cannot experience unlimited bliss, permanent bliss. It is very, very limited experience that we can have with this kind of happiness. So there is in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter. So there is a verse, Krishna himself is saying this. He says, Yehi samsparsha jaboga dukkha yonaya evate aryantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Says that somebody can read the translation. Sahit, you want to read the translation? Yeah.
An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them.
Yeah. So whatever the pleasures, whatever the happiness that we are getting, Krishna himself is saying in Bhagavad Gita that this is because of the contact of the material senses. We are feeling the pleasure because of the contact of the senses. When we are doing some activity with our hands or legs or genitals or with these material senses, whatever we are experiencing, this happiness, whatever we are experiencing with the material senses, is temporary, which has beginning and end. Okay, and it is the source of misery also. Whenever you try to enjoy with your material senses, you are already planting a seed of misery in it. So the next thing is that you are going to experience some misery because of this activity, whatever you are doing. It may not come right away, but you already planted a seed because you are enjoying with your material senses. Any pleasure that you are getting through the material senses, it has beginning and end. It has to come to an end. So why it has beginning and end, in the subsequent slides I will show you that. Why it has beginning and end, I will show you that also. Okay? That's the reason the intelligent people, those who are very, very wise and intelligent, they do not look for this kind of pleasure because it has beginning and end. Any intelligent person, what they have to do? They want to look for some pleasure which is permanent. Intelligent person has to look for something permanent. Why should I look for something temporary which is there today and tomorrow it's gone? Why should I look for that? So the intelligent person, the wise person, he looks for the pleasure which is permanent. Okay. So it is mentioned that the pleasures that we experience in this life is like a sweet rice mixed with stones. Yes, it is sweet, but then it is mixed with stones. So sometimes we experience that misery also. Okay. So in order to understand the real happiness versus temporary happiness, we have to understand what is a relative problem and real problem. Only when you understand the problems, then we can understand how to get that happiness, how to get out of the problem so that we can be happy, right? So what is the relative problems versus real problems? What are some of the problems we face in our life? A lot of times says, oh, I'm going through this problem, I'm going through these struggles, we say so many, like, we all go through some problems in life. So what are the problems we go through?
Some people lose their job.
Yes, losing a job is a problem. Yeah, correct? Yes,
Comparing ourselves to others.
Comparing ourselves to others, that's a problem. Yeah. So competitive mentality or envy, looking at other people. Yeah, that's a problem. What else?
Nowadays I hear so simple thing, everyday cooking, hot food is a problem in the household.
Yes, hot food, especially in summer, when the temperature is so hot, so high, then cooking in the kitchen is a problem. Yeah. So excessive snow is a problem. Excessive heat is a problem. I am running out of gas on a highway, that's a problem. I don't have good health, that's a problem. Right? I don't have a job, that's a problem. I have a job but I am getting less money, that's a problem. I am getting good money but somebody else is getting more money, so that's a problem. So these are all the problems that we face. But are these real problems of life? Okay? All these real problems of life. So the relative problems, if you solve, you get relative happiness. Meaning the temporary problems you solve, you get temporary happiness. But if you solve the real problems, okay, we will see what is the real problem. Then you get the real happiness. Okay? So what are these real problems? So what is a relative or temporary problem is, one man's food is another man's poison. Meaning a problem is relative if it is not common to everybody. Meaning, for example, if there is excessive lot of rain, a shopkeeper who is selling umbrellas, it is an excellent thing for him. Wow, there should be more rain coming so that I can sell more umbrellas. On October 31st, what is October 31st? What happens on October 31st and 30th? Halloween. Halloween, it is a nightmare for parents because kids get so much candy and within 6 months they have to go to dentist to fix their teeth. But the dentist is extremely happy and the shopkeeper is extremely happy. It's a problem for one person, but it's not a problem for other person. They are very happy with it, right? So these are all called relative problems or temporary problems. They come and they go, and a problem for one person is not a problem for other person. He is happy. Like you may not get a job, you are feeling misery. It's a problem for you, but somebody else got a job. It's a good thing for him. He's happy about it. It's not a problem for the other person. So the relative problems or temporary problems are those. It's good for one person. It's not good, not good for other person. So it's not common. So these are all the temporary relative problems in life. Okay? Dentist, I just mentioned the dentist and toothache. So the more people have health issues, the doctors are very happy because they get business, they can make more money. Stock market crash, somebody is losing money, so it's a big problem for somebody. But somebody is making a lot of money on the other side. They are very happy. So it's not a problem. It's not a real problem. So umbrella shop and beach wear, I just mentioned that. So those are the temporary or relative problems. You are all with me so far? Is it okay? So far going good? Yeah, or is it boring? Do we need some entertainment or something? You are okay, right? Okay. So then what is the real problem? So we just talked about the temporary problem. Then what is the real problem? How do we define a real problem? How do we define what is real problem? How do we define it?
You just said it's everything
That
has
is
the same the problem. That is
common to all.
Common to
Okay, that is one test. So real problem means it has to be common to everyone. Then it can be said that's a real problem. Okay? So what else? That's common to all. So there is a 3 filter test. When somebody says a problem, is it a real problem or not? 3 criteria it has to pass. Then you can say that it's a real problem. One is, it is common to everybody. The job problem we talked about, is it common to everybody? No. There is umbrella shop or in the dentist issue, all these things are common. No. One person is happy, one person. So that's not common, right? That's not a real problem. No one wants it. A real problem is a problem nobody wants to have that in their life. I don't want it. Everybody says common. Everybody says no, you don't want this problem. If something passes these 3 things, and everybody gets it, you cannot avoid that. So it's common to everyone. Nobody wants it, but everybody has to go through it. These are the real problems in life. Okay? If it passes, anything that you are going through in your life, just see if it passes these 3 tests. If it passes through these 3 tests, then you know that it's a real problem. Otherwise, don't be depressed, don't be unhappy, understand that it's a temporary, we'll pass through it. There is a beautiful statement. It says that once a king asks, he sends all his entire people in the assembly, says that you go and find a wise man who can give a very wonderful sentence. One sentence. I want to hear one excellent sentence which is going to help me in my life. Find a wise man in the entire city, and that person should be able to tell one sentence which I would like, or which would help me in my life. Everybody goes and tries to find so many things, and finally somebody comes and says one thing. He says, the king gets very, very happy by it. All that sentence says is that, and it says the condition is that whenever you are going through the distress or whenever you are going through happiness, then you read this slip, whatever I put. Okay? Then once king was feeling extremely distressed, and then he goes and looks at the slip. What is written there? It says it is temporary. So whether happiness or distress in our life, same thing, it is temporary. Even if you are happy, we don't have to keep, wow, I am very happy, it's going to continue. No, don't be in the dream. It will last. It will last for some time and then it will go away. So whether it is happiness or distress in this life, it's all temporary. Okay? But if something passes these 3 things, common to all, no one wants it, but everybody gets it. Everybody has to go through it. This is the real problem of life. So now you may be wondering, what is that then? Do I really have a problem in my life? Whatever I am thinking till now, I thought those are the real problems, but this guy is telling me those are not even the problems. So then what is the real problem then? Do we have the real problems in our life? Do you think we have real problems in our life?
Natural calamity or COVID.
You are coming there. So what are the real problems that we go through in our life? Let's look at that. Okay. So body. Okay, that's the acronym that we can remember. So the first acronym I said is SEED. Sleeping, enjoying, eating and defending. The first acronym. The second one I said is ABCD. So the ability, the 4 things that we special for human beings. Okay. And now what are the real problems that we go through in life? Remember body. B-O-D-Y. So if we remember our body, then we know what are the 4 problems. So what is the first problem? Which is a birth. You may be wondering why birth is a real problem of life. the birth itself may not be the real problem, because it's a joyous occasion that somebody took birth, and in our family we are very, very happy. But the birth itself is the root cause of all other three problems. Birth itself is not a problem. It's very, very joyous occasion. We feel happy, right? When we look at the parents and everybody in the family, it's a very joyous occasion. But that is the root cause of all other problems. So birth, old age, disease, and death. Just to make a nice acronym, I put Yamaraj. so that we remember that. So body, birth, old age, disease, and death. So do you think this is a problem at all, first of all? Old age, disease, death, is it a problem or not?
Yes.
Padmaji, what do you think?
I don't know.
Does anybody look forward to the old age?
It passes the three tests, right? It passes
Even
the
though you
three
accept or not, you have to go through
You
it,
have to go-
right? So
exactly, that's
there
a
is
con-
nothing decision making here.
Correct.
So no need to think about those things now. If you have to go through.
Exactly. So this is common to all, but people don't look forward to become old because they
But
know that
disease
old age
we
brings
can
in.
handle little bit, not to become disease, we can take care little bit. But other two, it's not in our hand.
Yeah, other two is not in our hands, and even the old age, I mean the health disease also, we can try to take care of ourselves, but we cannot avoid, because that's the nature of the world, period. That's the nature of the body. We cannot avoid
Yeah.
health issues, diseases. Okay? So if something passes, these are the 4 real problems of life, because this passes our test. These 3 common to all. Nobody wants it. Everybody has to go through it. But if you guys think of any other problem, please let me know. I'll add it to the slide.
There's another one.
I can change my slide and add one. Okay, something
There is
else.
another.
Like the cycle of birth and like if there is a cutoff, like you won't have another birth.
Yeah, this
And
is the
then-
next birth.
No, if you don't have another birth, when I'm saying like we are going through this continuous cycles of births and
Right,
deaths and
right.
I
coming
think
through all
reincarnation. maybe.
reincarnation.
Right.
So no having any reincarnation. That is
Right, so-
another problem.
Correct. So that comes under birth. So if you don't want birth again, that's what it means.
Yeah,
You don't want birth. Basically, if you can avoid birth, then all other 3 problems are solved. If you don't take birth again, then there is no other problems. Other problems do not exist if you are not born. Right? So besides this, there are 3 other miseries. Okay? So there is something called Adhyatmika miseries. Adhyatmika miseries means the miseries that we get because of the mind and body, that we experience because of the mind and body. Of course, the body that we saw before in the previous slide, because of the body only we are experiencing the diseases, death, old age, everything is there because of the body. And the misery that is caused by mind. So the mind, there are so many issues in the world now. The problems of mind is the number 1 cause in the world. The number 1 disease is not cancer. The number 1 disease is not, other things. The mental health issues are the number 1 in the world. Okay? So we experience misery because of our mind and body. And the second type of misery is Adi Bhautika. Bhautika means other living entities. The misery is caused by other living entities. We cannot avoid that. Like recently we went through all the struggle for 2 years, COVID. Just because of an invisible bacteria, everybody had to struggle. We don't want it, but the misery is caused by some other living entity. A mosquito bite, we don't want it, but a simple mosquito bite, it will cause malaria, it would cause dengue, or it would cause any other disease. We go through the misery. So the misery is caused by other living entity. And the third type is Adi Daivika. Adi Daivika means the natural disturbances that we see. It could be tsunamis, it could be hurricanes, it could be earthquakes, excessive heat, excessive cold, famine, all these things that are caused by the nature. So there are 4, we mentioned body, birth, old age, death and disease. And then these are the 3 types of miseries we all experience. Adi Bhautika, Adi Atmika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika. So these are the things, are the real problems of life. We cannot, as long as we are here, we cannot avoid these kinds of things. We have to go through these kinds of things.
So what is other living entity? I mean, like other people or?
It could be other people also. It could be other people. It could be mosquito. It could be an animal. Anything. Right? So my neighbor said this, or my mother-in-law said this, you know. So we all go through this. So that's what it is. Okay. So now with the technology, the science and technology is advancing so much. We are developing so much in our life. You know, so many things happened in the last 100 years. Technology has developed so much. So many things have been, you know, discovered or invented. So many things happened. But are we really addressing the root cause of all our problems? Are we really addressing the real problems of life? Scientists are able to make, you know, nuclear weapons. So now recently scientists went to the space. Now there is a space tourism already started. You know, somebody landed on moon, somebody landed on Mars. There's so much technological advancement, so much technological scientific advancements going on. But are we addressing the root cause of actual our problems? Or are we doing the band-aid fix? Like if you have a fever, what do you do? If you have a disease, what do we do? Do we think about the permanent solution, or we just take a painkiller? Which one is good? Which one is better? So most of the time, what do? We take the painkiller. We suppress the pain and we think the disease is gone. But the actual root is there. The disease is already there. But we are only on the superficial surface level, we are trying to fix the problems. Battery is running low already. So is the advancement in technology the real solution, solution to the real problems of life, or just a painkiller to provide temporary relief? So with so much advancement in the technology and science, have they able to fix these problems in life? Are they able to avoid diseases? Death? Have you seen anybody who did not die from last 300 years? 400 years? Are we able to see, you know, disease free? Anything? Are they able to avoid old age? No. So the technology is advancing so much, the science is advancing so much, but nobody is able to address the real problem of life. We are only artificially giving the painkillers so that we get some kind of relief. So the technology and science is definitely making us feel more comfortable, right? So we are not against technology, we are not against science. If the technology, science is not there, we wouldn't be here, you know, watching the TV, putting the TV, laptop, you know, mobile phones, everything. You know, in our hands, we can see the entire world. We can talk to anybody. So we appreciate the technology, but understand that that's not solving the real issue of the life, real problems of the life. That's what we are addressing here. So yes, you know, the painkiller, is it good? Yeah, it gives instant relief. It is cheap and it's easily available. At least you can go and get that, and you get instant relief from that. But the disadvantage is, it does not. It has side effects. Any technological solution that you take, it fixes one problem, it opens door for another problem. It's like Microsoft, you know. They send one release, release 10.2.1.2, and they say that I fixed $10, and the next release will have another $50, 50 fixes. So it's like that. The technology, it fixes some issue, but then it opens door for other issues. So anything you take technology, any technology you take, any advanced technology you take, it always has, it brings something else, some other issue in life. Whether it is cell phone, whether it is microwave, whether it is whatever you call it, everything has that. And no permanent cure. These are all only temporary relief that we get. And it can make the disease worse by taking these kinds of things. So, see that. So we, you know, there's a picture, I mean, there's an understanding that, you know, human being came from the monkey, but that's not really true. But anyway, for this picture, we can understand like that. It was like that, and then finally they are again sitting in front of the computer and doing the same thing. Okay? So somewhere something terribly went wrong. Something is going wrong because we are not able to fix the real problems of life with technology and advancement. Yeah. Anyway, so these are all some of the examples. I don't want to go through them. You know, so the mobile phones. There is, you know, so much advancement, but there is a traffic issues with so many things, right? When there was a bus, everybody can go, 50 people can go in one bus, right? But now with advancement, there are so many cars. Now there is a traffic issue. So for everything, there is some disadvantage we go through, right? In 1990, TV used to be so big and the people used to be so tiny and thin. Now we have we have smart TVs for dumb people. right? Yeah, does material advancement provide solution to real problems? There is so much information, quick communication, global connectivity, we have all these things. There is no doubt about that. But still, the health issues are increasing day by day. There are more health issues, more health challenges. When you look at the hospitals, we feel proud that wow, now there are so many departments, there are so many specialists. For each and every part of the body, there is a specialist. Yes, are we happy? Are we supposed to feel happy that we have so many specialists? Or are we supposed to feel bad that each and every part of the body can give you the pain? All it indicates that every part of your body can give you pain. That's why we have so many specialists. Right? So the diseases are increasing, the impersonalism. Because of the technology, people are not able to relate with each other. Right? So everybody is talking on the phones or text messages. You know, people don't have time to call, talk to the person. You know, feel that they don't have that personal connectivity, and it brings other problems. Okay, so anyway, so these are some of the things. I don't want to advance in science, nuclear weapons. Yeah, this is what it is. You know, life with computer. What happens? You know, the parents are chatting with their son. So, dear Andy, how have you been? Your mother and I are fine. We miss you. Please sign off your computer and come downstairs to eat something. The kid is not somewhere else, he's in the same house. But they haven't seen each other for many, many days. They're so busy with their computers. And one guy is getting married and he says, did you get my email? By the time he got the email, this guy married another girl. So that's what the life is with computers. And we are going with so much speed in direction, but without, so much speed but without direction. Meaning, you know, there was one flight. It's in 30,000 feet height and it's going very nicely. Everything was going fine. You know, they are serving food, liquor, everybody is enjoying, having nice time, watching movies. Suddenly, there's some turbulence. Then there's an announcement. The announcement says that the pilot announces. Pilot announces that we have a good news and a bad news. So what do you want to hear? So it says, okay, tell us the good news first. The good news is that we have 2 engines for the flight. Only one engine is broken because of the turbulence. Other engine is working fine. Everybody gets relief. Then what is the problem? The problem is the compass is broken. We don't know which direction we are going. We don't know where it is going. So it is like that. So the technology is advancing so much. We are doing so many things, but we don't know which direction we are going. We don't know whether it is helping us or not. We think it is helping, but it's not solving the problems. So we are going in a way, but without any proper direction to solve our issues. So anyway, these are the certain things, you know, money can buy a bed, but we cannot. These are all the quotes I don't want to read right now because we are getting late. So are we really against technology and science? No. Technology and science is like a knife. Is knife good or bad? Panitan, is it good or bad?
Depends by using.
It's neutral.
It's neutral.
You can use it to cook, you can use it to kill people.
Exactly. So it depends on how you use it, right? You can use the knife to kill somebody, or you can use the knife to cut some vegetables and cook. So it all depends on how you use the knife. Similarly, the technology and science is not bad, right? There are some defects with it, but still, if you use it in a right way, it will do good for the humanity. But most of the time, what happens? It brings a lot of other issues. So where did we go wrong? Then what are we doing? How are we solving these issues? What is the root cause of all of our problems? Superficial solutions. So that's why you keep getting the same problem again and again, because we are not addressing the actual issue. Okay. So permanent solution is when somebody is getting a headache recurring, then instead of just taking a headache tablet, then try to find out the root cause. Maybe it is because of the diet, maybe it is because of the stress, maybe it is because of the taste, something like that. So fever. So it could be any of these things. If you address the original problem, then the problem will go away. So there is one joke. Once there are very highly advanced, very intellectual people. They are in an assembly. They have attended a party, right? There is one engineer, there is one doctor, different types of doctors, engineers, and all these are very, very highly techy, very smart people, right? They are all sitting and chatting. Suddenly they see one person walking. That person is not walking properly. He was just dragging one feet, So then, because these are intellectuals, they want to analyze what is the problem. Right? That immediately that comes to mind. Why is this guy dragging his feet like that? So the engineer thinks, maybe something went wrong with his feet, and the doctor says it is problem with the ankle. Something broke with his ankle. Like that, each intellectual tells a different problem. It could be because of this, it could be because of that, it could be because of that. And then finally one of the intelligent people says, why don't we ask that person why he's doing it? There are so many solutions. Then this guy goes and asks, why are you dragging your feet? What happened? He says that my slipper is broken. That's the reason. So my slipper is not good. It was good when I came here, but then
Nobody guessed that.
nobody gets that. So it's like that. Okay. So now we'll come to the the actual, what is the solution for the real happiness? I know you are all looking for this now. So we understand what is the problem. We understand what is the real problem. Then we understand that the technological advancements are not able to solve our real problems. Then how do we do that? So the three solutions for permanent happiness is search for the right thing in the right place. Okay? We are trying to find the happiness in a wrong place. One day somebody was searching for his keys in front of his house. Okay? He seemed to be a little drunk. And then he came home late night and he was trying to open the door. He realized that he doesn't have a key. Then he started searching in front of the house. Then somebody passing by, he goes and asks this person, what are you searching for, sir? He says that, I lost my key and I am trying to find it here. So where do you think you lost your key? I just went to a bar and restaurant. So that's where I think I dropped. Then why are you searching here in front of your house? You put your key somewhere else and now you are searching in a wrong place. So similarly, we are trying to find the happiness in a wrong place. This world that we are in, it is defined, it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna that this place is designed like that. This place is abode of miseries. We cannot avoid dukkha or we cannot avoid miseries in this particular place. Our happiness is bound to be mixed with misery. It's going to be mixed. So that is the nature of the world. If the nature of the world is like this, then you are trying to find your happiness in a wrong place. The material world is also temporary. So it is ashashvatam. So in one of the verses I said that it is limited. Why is it limited? The happiness is limited because our senses are limited. Our senses are limited. Meaning, with eyes, how much you can see? We can only see to certain distance, only to certain time. We cannot see with our eyes for all the time. Right? If it is like 50 feet away, we cannot see it. If it's too close, I cannot see it. So our eyes have some limitation. So we cannot have happiness, permanent happiness with our limited senses. How much you can eat? You have limitations to eat. How much you can smell? How much you can hear? See, everything has limitations in this world. So with our limited senses, you cannot have permanent happiness. So the world is temporary. Everything is temporary in this world. Everything has to go away. And then it is place of misery. That's what it is mentioned here. And then accepting reality, accepting the unchanging realities and living by natural principles creates peace. Non-acceptance creates emotional disturbance. That means understand the reality that this is the world is like that. Once you understand, when we try to fight something which we cannot change, that's when we go through the struggles. Right? You have a certain situation and you don't want to accept that situation, you keep fighting with it, then you will never be happy. But if you understand that that is not going to change, you have to change. If you understand that, then at least you will be peaceful. So when you are not able to see certain things, so like for example, you are looking at if a photographer is looking at a scenery, like which is like 1 kilometer away. So if it is not visible clearly, is that the problem with the photographer or the picture itself? What does the photographer has to do? He has to change the lens. He cannot change the object. The object is same, but he has to change his lens, the way he is looking at things. Then he can get the clear picture of it. Similarly, we have to accept the reality around us. Then we can be at least peaceful. We have to accept that. And then connect to the Supreme Being in love. So what does it mean? Because we are trying to get happiness with temporary things which are not going to be there permanently. Our happiness is also temporary because we are trying to get happiness from the temporary thing. So our happiness is also temporary and limited. But if you connect to something or somebody who is the reservoir of unlimited pleasure, let's say you have a water tank of 5 gallons. How much water you can get out of that? Maximum? You cannot expect more than 5 gallons. It's a 5-gallon tank. You cannot expect more than 5 gallons. That's the maximum you can get, right? Similarly, all the things that we have in this life, everything has a limitation. So only limited happiness you can get, not more than that. But that's the nature of it. But if you want something more, like if you want unlimited water, where you have to go? You have to go to the ocean. Then you can get unlimited water. But if you are sitting at home, having a 5-gallon water, you say that no, I want continuous water supply from this 5-gallon. You cannot get that. You have to go to the right place to get the right amount of water. Similarly, we have to find something which has unlimited pleasure, which can supply unlimited pleasure. If we get connected to that, then we can also get the permanent happiness. So it's like the example of a lost child separated from its parent, only get limited help from social painkillers. Oh, I think the battery is down here. Yeah, it's overcut for this? It's okay. That's fine, I'll just speak for a few minutes. I think almost done. There are just few more slides there. So, but the point is that if you want unlimited permanent happiness, you have to find that entity who can give you that. You have to find that place where you can get that. Does that make sense? So we are in a temporary world, we have limited resources. When you are trying to get enjoyment from the limited resource, you are going to get limited happiness. But if you want to get permanent happiness, long-lasting happiness, unlimited happiness, you have to find a source where this unlimited happiness is coming from, where it is coming from. So we have to find that place, that person who can give that long-lasting or permanent happiness. So is there something like that? Is there something like that? Is there some place where we can get permanent happiness? Is there somebody who can give us permanent happiness? So then, then who created this world which is temporary and misery, causing miseries, dukhalayam? Who created this? If at all there is somebody who is creating this, then why did he create this? Which has some miseries in it. Why didn't he make it full of happiness so that there are no miseries? Why he did not make it? If at all somebody made this. Right? So I will end here with this thought. And then next week we will see who is that person or what is that place where we can have this unlimited happiness. Is it possible or not? How we get that? We will know who is that person who can give you that. Okay? Yeah, I think we are connected. But yeah, so I will stop here. I don't know what time is it. It's 8:40. So we spoke for I think almost 1 hour 10 minutes or 1 hour 5 minutes. I think we started a little late. So today we covered basically what are the common between animals and human beings. So what is that acronym? Seed. Seed means sleeping, eating, enjoying, and defending. So what are those are the 4 common things. And what is the speciality of human beings? What is that extra that human beings can do? That is a dharma. And what is the ability? The 4 abilities that one human being can do is A, B, C, D. What are those A, B, C, D? Anyone remember that?
Ability, bliss,
Ability,
choice,
okay.
and determination.
Ability, sir. What is B? Bliss. Okay. So they can experience bliss. 4 levels of bliss we talked. 4 levels of bliss is basically bodily with your senses. That's the lowest pleasure one can get. The next is emotional happiness. The third one is intellectual happiness. The highest is a spiritual bliss. The spiritual bliss is the one which is eternal and long lasting. So how to attain that spiritual bliss, we will talk in the subsequent sessions. So that is A, B, C, D. That is a speciality of that. And then we talked about what are the the problems of life. So temporary relative problems versus permanent problems and real solutions. So what are the real problems of life? Birth, body. If you remember body, you'll get it. Birth, old age, disease, and death actually. So death is basically memorized. So, and then we talked about those 4 and also 3 types of miseries one experiences in this world. Adi Atmika means the misery is caused by one's own body and mind. Okay? And then the second one is Adi Bhautika, the other living entities, problems caused by other living entities. And the third one is the misery is caused by the natural calamities or Prakriti. So these are the three. So total 7. 4 body, the body plus these 3, those 7. Those are the real problems of life. If somebody is thinking that it's a problem, then see if this is really a problem. Otherwise, everything is temporary. They go and go. They come and go. You know? So we don't have to put too much into it. So then we talked about how one can get the real happiness, the temporary happiness and real happiness. Temporary happiness is like sweet rice mixed with stones, basically. Sweet. That's what the temporary happiness we feel. That is only at the bodily level. And all the technological advancement, whatever we are learning outside, basically that gives only the temporary solution. It's a bandage fix. Basically, it's not solving the real issue of life. Real problems of life are not solved by all these things. So for that you need to have something else. So the real solution is to basically 3 steps I gave. For the real problems of life. So we have to understand that we are looking for the happiness in a wrong place. Basically. So that's what it is. And then we have to find the right place where we can get where we can find the right happiness. And the second one is, this is the nature of the material world. That's one thing. And also accept the reality. That's what it is. So at least if you accept it, you will be peaceful. And third one is connect to that reality. Connect to that place where you can tap into unlimited happiness. So those are the things we talked. Any questions or comments or thoughts so far?
Why would God create this deceptive world?
Why would God
create this deceptive world? Like, he knows that people would naturally have that inclination towards the material desires and all this kind of stuff. So why do you even create it and have people have that inclination to go towards that, and then you want them to again come back towards him? It's like, rather than putting them in a place where they can have a strong inclination, you are like throwing them in a place which naturally doesn't have that, induce that inclination, and now you're trying to throw a rope or something to pull them towards it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a very tough thing that you're doing there. So what is the intent in this?
Yeah, it's like some movies, when the hero wants to attract heroine, he first sends some gundas. And then the hero goes and fights with them. He only hired them.
Yeah.
He fights with them and then attracts that. No, God is not like that. Luckily, God is not like that. But see, even to address that question, we have to first of all see that we have to accept that God created this world. If you accept that fact, then we can discuss further next step. But if the group, one of them is not believing that God created this, then there is no point in answering that question. But does everybody believe that, first of all, God created this world? Who created this world? How did this world come?
Evolution. We read Darby theory, that's all.
No, does it make sense what I am saying? So you are saying that why did God create this with so many problems? So that means you are accepting that God created this.
Right. I mean, there should be a start of some energy form. Like,
Yeah.
it cannot happen without an energy. So that energy needs a source, a starting point, and that source needs to come in from a place which has like an ultimate potential. And that is not something which can even be perceived by someone. Even in the science, people are, I don't think so they're that evolved to even understand that source. Which is why they just call it Big Bang or something, but they are not even evolved to that.
Yeah. So I'll address that question. We'll finish this one. So it's almost done. This word is Dukhalayam Ashashputam. This word is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. It's not my word. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself says this word that this is material world is Dukhalayam and Ashashputam. Dukhalayam means the place of misery. Ashashputam means temporary. Shashputam means temporary. Ashashputam means permanent. Ashashputam means temporary. Dukhalayam, as the name suggests, Alayam, so we say Devalaya. Devalaya means a place of gods. It's Devalaya. Grandhalaya means where there are grandas or books. Vidyalaya means where you get vidya. Similarly, Dukhalaya means where you get dukkhas. That's what it is. And this is an example of trying to find happiness in wrong place. If you take a fish out of water, you do whatever, you give so many things to the fish, fish is never going to be happy. The fish can find happiness only in the water when you put that fish in the water. So you try to feed so much food, you give money, you do all these things you can give to the fish, but fish is not happy because it is out of the water. So only when you put the fish back into the water, that's when it can find its happiness. We are like the last son of a millionaire father. So like for example, there's a extremely rich person, very extremely rich person, and his son is lost, a small child is lost. And the child is wandering in somewhere on the streets. What makes him happy? Somebody comes and gives some food because kid seems to be hungry. Does that make kid happy or not? Somebody gave a food. Does that make kid happy? Yes. Kid is happy because kid is looking for food and somebody comes and gives some shelter. They give some clothes and everything. The kid is happy. Somebody comes and gives some money. Kid is happy. But is that what the real happiness the kid is looking for? The kid is looking for his father. If somebody can take that kid and take him to the parents, then the real happiness the kid feels. So we are like that. So we have to revive our eternal relationship with the Father to become truly happy. If we understand who is our real Father, if we understand where we came from, if we try to tap into that, then we can be really happy. So and then so this kind of a happiness that we are talking about, if you look at the previous picture I showed, the line was like this. That means initially you have high, then it was going down, diminishing. But this kind of a happiness, it is progressive. It keeps increasing over the time. As the time progresses, your happiness also increases. This one. So anyway, we just spoke about, this is just summary of what we just spoke. So I think that is the end of the presentation. But anyway, to address Sandeep's question, why God has to create something like this? Again, he created something and then he comes and pulls us. Why he has to do all that? Let me put a question back to you guys. When an architect is designing a city, we had this talk already before, but again we'll talk. Sandeep. So when an architect is designing a city, what kind of things he plans in a city? A very good, very intellectual, very extremely intelligent architect, he is designing a city, brand new city. What are all things that architect plans for in a city? Sometimes. What is your son's name? I forgot his name. Anish. Sorry? Anish. Anish, what do you think when somebody is, like, let's say you are designing a city? Okay. What are all things you plan for in a city? What are all things you look for? In a nice city, what are all things you plan in a city? Should have.
Maybe like a place to for people to live.
Yeah, houses, basically housing. Okay, colonies. Yeah, communities.
Places like you can go.
Okay, some restaurants or some movie theaters or parks. Okay, that's good. That's entertainment. What else?
Maybe like things like supply city, like a power grid or stuff like that.
What is that?
Electricity, water.
Oh, power, electricity. Okay, electricity. Some station where you can get the electricity. The place where you can get the water from. Okay, what else?
Maybe like roads and cars.
So the infrastructure, roads will have, and then.
Hospital.
Yeah, hospitals.
Hospitals will have, library will have, schools will have. Schools we don't want, right? That is the last thing I will do when I'm creating a city. Right, Anish?
Correction facility.
And we have airport, we have bus station, we have railway station. We plan all these things. Along with this, what else is planned in a city?
Trash and sewage.
Trash and sewage is necessary. Some dump yard is necessary. So we cannot say that why this dump yard is so dirty, so much smell is coming. Why we have to plan for dump yard? Do we think like that? We still plan for a dump yard because we know that people are going to put trash. That's inevitable. So people plan for a dump yard, right? So we cannot say that why he has to plan for a dump yard. If you don't if you don't plan for a dump yard, all the trash is going to be inside the house and you will suffer more. So that's why there is a dump yard. Okay. What else is needed? What else is created?
Hospitals.
Hospitals, yeah, hospitals is mentioned.
ISKCON temple.
Crematory grounds, because yeah, that's good.
ISKCON temple.
So, religious places, religious places like all these temples, yeah.
Prison.
Prison. Why do we need a prison? Is it necessary to have a prison in a city? Why?
In an ideal city.
So we are thinking that there are bad people. See, this is a brand new city we are building. The architect is building a brand new city, but we are planning to build a jail also already with that.
In an ideal city, it shouldn't be there.
But nothing is ideal.
So that's the reason the material world is not an ideal place for us. So similarly, God knows, understands that there are some people who are always going to be rebellious. There are some people who are going to go against the rules of God. For them, they create this world. It's like when government creates this entire facility, the city, when they design the city, they plan for a jail also. It is not that city wants people to commit crimes. That's not their intention. But they already know that there are some people, they are going to go against the rules of the city. They need to be corrected. They need to be punished. They need to be corrected in some way. So let's have a facility so that these people do not cause disturbance to the other society. And at the same time, this correction facility, we call it prison or jail, is a reformation facility. It's not really to punish, but the idea is give them some kind of a training, give them some kind of a knowledge so that they will not do these mistakes when they come out. Similarly,
Are you saying we are living in a jail?
We all are bad people.
you got it. So this is like in the entire creation, this material world is like a jail. So we are here because we did not want to obey the laws of God. So then God says, okay, I will, and we want to enjoy. I want to enjoy so many things. Then the God says, I will create a world for you where you go and enjoy. That's why He creates all these facilities for us to enjoy. If God is so cruel, He wouldn't give all these facilities. If He really wanted to, if He's a sadist, He wouldn't give us all these facilities. Why He should give all these facilities for us? He gave us the facilities so that we can fulfill our desires. We have so many desires. Our desires can be fulfilled. At the same time, He wants us to understand that no matter what, no matter how much enjoyment you have in this world, you cannot avoid troubles. You cannot avoid miseries. Why He gives? So that at some point you will realize and you want to go back to the real place.
So where is the real place? Where are the good people?
I think that is the next week. Thing.
Yes. We will. I'm happy that you guys are asking the
Now
question.
you have to come next week.
You have to come all the 7 weeks. You have to come all the 7 weeks. Your question is the last week.
Yeah. So definitely, there is a place. There is a place. It's not that there is no place where we can find the real. There is a place where everybody can be a happy family. Everybody can be a happy, extremely joyful. There is no miseries in that place. There is a place like that. So when God creates this, He creates that also. Why God creates something which which has only these kinds of things? There is something else where we can experience all that. So we have to go to that planet to experience it. That's what it is. So
Is it like a heaven, like other religious stuff?
let's keep that suspense for next week.
I don't know, one of the slide, you said that Krishna said it, but I kind of didn't like it, the last third slide.
Yeah.
This thing is Dukkhalaya and Asashvatam. Asashvatam I agree because we temporarily live here.
Yeah.
But Dukkhalaya I don't agree because Earth is very heavenly place. The greenery and everything we are getting. I don't know, somehow I'm not accepting that slide for me. That's what the perception you see maybe. If you see that is Dukkhalaya, but I never see Earth is a Dukkhalaya.
Yeah.
It's very great place to live. Of course it's temporary for us. It's not temporary for Earth.
Correct.
We are living temporary here. So That other word is okay, but the first word I don't agree with you.
Dukhalayam you did not like
I don't
it.
agree.
Even I don't like it, but what to do?
But I don't know why Krishna got that. That's what I was thinking. Why
Yeah.
God have to say
God,
that actually?
it is Dukhalayam. See, because if you go to a restaurant, I'll give you a simple analogy. If you go to a restaurant, there are so many dishes, right, in a restaurant. Like 25, 30 different items are made. So typically when we go, first time when we go to the restaurant, we ask, what is the best dish here? We ask, what is the best item out of all these things? What is the best thing? We ask the chef or somebody. Why do we ask that? We don't ask anybody else. Typically we ask that because chef knows the best. Because chef is the one who made all these items. He can tell what is what, and he can clearly tell. If you want spicy, this is the item you need to take. If you want sweet, you need to take this. So he can give you he's the best judge to tell what is good, what is bad, what is what. Similarly, the best judge to decide what is who created it. So whether we may accept it or we may not accept it, we like it or not, but the person who created himself is telling that this is what it is. And you are thinking that it's not Dukhalayam, but if you go around and look at it, there's so much misery going on. It's not that everybody is happy in this life. You could just go to any hospital. The number of hospitals are increasing like left and right. The hospitals are getting bigger, the diseases are getting more and more. People are suffering. There are so many mental diseases. Then how can you say that this is place of happiness? There could be some. I am not saying there is no happiness. There is definitely happiness. So God created this place for us to enjoy also. So there is some happiness. It's not that absolutely there is misery. There is happiness, but at the same time, it is place of misery also. So the grand scheme of things, if you look at it, so there is so much misery going on in the world. So there's so many diseases, people are dying, people are born with so many things, mental problems, so many issues like that. So all these things are, in that sense, Krishna himself says that he created for this. God created this facility for two reasons, not one. One is so that the living entities like us can fulfill their desires. Whatever the enjoyment that we want, they can go and experience that in this world. He's giving the facility for us to have that. And at the same time, he wants us to understand that this is not the real place. You come back to it. So somehow there should be, unless there is some pressure or push, people become comfortable. They want to stay here only. But that's not the ultimate place God wants us to be. So that's the reason it's an impetus. These struggles, these miseries are impetus for us to look for higher pleasure. If you are all comfortable, why would I care about anything? I'm going fine, everything is fine, then you will be here all the time. But in this lifetime, you may be happy, but in some other lifetime, you don't know what is going to happen, or in the future, you don't know what is going to happen, and the death, old age, you cannot avoid, diseases you cannot avoid. Why all these things? Don't you want some place where, as I said, this is temporary, because of birth, death, old age, disease, we are dying, we are born and die. So if you want to avoid this, these are the four things that makes this place Dukhalayam. Birth, death, old age, disease. Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adidevika. These are the things that are making this world Dukhalayam. Because of this, it is called Dukhalayam. If these four are not there, then it's not Dukhalayam. Then there is joy. But anyway, hang in there. I know you are not. I can feel that you are not 100% convinced, which is okay. We can discuss further. As we learn more subsequent sessions, you may be able to get more convinced by knowing more, because this is only the introductory first session we talked about. So there is more to come. Then you might understand a little more what I am saying here. Sahit, you are okay?
Yeah.
So far, you are still bored.
A little.
I think we need to speak more then. Little more. Okay. Anybody has any other questions or comments or thoughts?
So maybe this is Dukhalayam because we haven't seen the Vaikuntha.
The real world, the real place.
Real place, right? Yeah. If you see the real place.
If you understand the real nature of the
yes,
place, then you might understand that this is what it is. Yeah. Maybe that's what as she says. If you know that real place where, if you understand the real nature of the happiness, all the things, then you may feel that, oh, okay, I was thinking this is what it is, but there is something else which is real thing. Then you might be able to get convinced or accept this fact.
Maybe she doesn't have to know all that. She's already happy. So don't disturb her consciousness.
No, that is good. Actually, no, some people are very, that's what. So, by nature, some people are very peaceful. They are happy. They haven't experienced any troubles. So, it's all good. Some people go through like that. Then the question also, why do I have to do anything else also? I am happy and peaceful. But the problem is that you cannot avoid these things, what I mentioned. No matter what, you cannot avoid this. So, then as soon as you think about these four, then that brings us some discomfort in life in the future. Yes, you are accepting. That's what. One of the things is to accept what they are. So when you accept, you take it and move on also. But the goal is to avoid that. How can I really avoid? So that's what it is.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like, so your progressiveness in spirituality, how do you know like that you are actually have come to the state of like receiving that exact information in the correct sense of how you should be receiving it? What I mean by that is extracting the knowledge, whatever you are sharing, or any spiritual guru shares, in the exact sense or the exact meaning of what it is. When you know that you have come to that state.
Oh, when you know that you have realized what that knowledge.
When you know like you are going to be really progressing in that. So the reason I asked that question is, I always have like different questions.
That's okay.
Like,
that's good. Wonderful. Yeah.
Like, so I'm just asking like a very generic question. Like, when do you see that progression really happening? Like, I think in one of the sessions that you talk about, I mean, this is very totally, I don't want to derail the session, but like.
No, our session is actual. Today's topic is over.
Okay.
But you can ask topics related to questions related to today's topic, or generic any spiritual related topic is fine too.
Yeah. So
I mean, unless if you want.
Okay.
Actually, I mean, the actual session is over. If somebody is getting late, or if you guys want to go home, feel free to do so. I don't want to hold you also, but if somebody wants to go, they can go. But if it is interesting, if you want to, I have all the time, so we can sit and discuss. That's fine with you. So yeah, I just want to put it out so that people are not obligated to sit here. So if you want to go, you can. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So more like people following